Your business website is your largest branding and marketing asset, both in cost and impact to your business. When it's not right, it can lead to you losing business. Not all web developers are created equal. You need to know who and what you want before you hire a web developer so that you get what you need for your business. In today's episode, I'm going to explain the different types of web design businesses out there, pricing structures, and how to hire a web developer to meet your needs.
Inkyma's Marketing Strategies is a podcast for small business owners hosted by Audrey Kirchner, co-founder and chief marketing strategist at Inkyma, helping you navigate the world of marketing so that you can market your business in the right way, see growth, and thrive regardless of the industry you're in. To learn more about Inkyma and what we do, ask a question, or schedule a marketing evaluation, go to the website inkyma.com. That's INKYMA.com. Listen to the show on your podcast player of choice, the Inkyma website, or the Inkyma YouTube channel. Just search for Inkyma Marketing Strategies and you'll find what you need.
Okay, so before we get into this, there's a little bit of housekeeping. I am going to be making product recommendations, referencing other podcast episodes. So all of this can be found in the show notes on the website at inkyma.com, including a rough transcript of the entire episode. So you're definitely going to want that for today because you're going to want to go back and probably reference some of this. So the links are all there. The transcript is there. Some of the products that I'm going to be talking about today, we are partners with those companies. And if you use our links, we do get a small commission for it. These are all systems and products that we use, we vetted, and some of them I've used for years and years and years. So the only reason I'm recommending them is because I love them and I like them. And then the little bit of commission that we get really helps us out and helps us keep making all this great content for you. If you're considering using any of these, please go to the show notes and use our links. Okay, so I hear horror stories all the time from potential clients, from new clients when I'm talking to them about what they want to do with their website, about all their past experiences that they've had with other web companies and platforms and designers. They've had to do a lot of the work themselves. They paid for things that they didn't get. The project took so long and wasn't what they were expecting. And the list goes on and on and on. My heart really goes out for these businesses. Every time I hear one of these stories, I get a little angry. I'm really, really sad because it makes it harder to trust a company that does things the right way because of the experiences that you've had in the past. Plus, websites are expensive. I think they're worth every penny when they're done right, but they're expensive and they take time, right? You're never going to get that lost time or revenue back from a bad website. And so the last thing you want to do is spend a lot of money and a lot of time and not get what you asked for and what you need. That's why today I'm going to share with you how this industry works a bit. I can't give you like my 20, 30 some odd years of experience in a half hour, but hopefully what I provide today will help you navigate and avoid these website pitfalls that so many business owners find themselves in. So I'm going to be a little cheeky here. And here is the short answer. You don't even need to listen to the rest of the episode. Hire us at Inkyma. All the things I'm going to be talking to you about today, we do, we believe in. So seriously, listen to the rest of the episode. More than welcome to have a conversation with me about it. But if you need something different, right? I want you to get what you need. So it's important to hire a good web design company. The site that they build, if it's done the right way, is going to help you grow your business. It's going to generate leads. It's going to help close a sale. It's going to build your business reputation and support your brand. Even me, I work in this industry and I'm looking for something, finding someone to give us dance lessons or a place to go, a restaurant or something. I do look at the websites, right? And of course, I do judge them a little bit, but they influence my decision. And I know that they are. Like we look at it and we go, oh gosh, this is a horrible website, but maybe they're a really good company. Maybe I should still call them anyway. And then I see their competitor, it has a better website, different features. And I actually usually go with the other one because to me, that tells me that they at least cared enough to build something that's truly reflective of their business. And that's really what you need. is that for when people look and search for you and have not met you yet and they find your website, it needs to reflect your business values accurately. You're going to lose customers if it doesn't. You're going to attract the wrong ones and you're going to lose the ones that you want. I did a whole episode 90, get a website that matches your values on this specific topic. So definitely go and take a listen to that. The link is in the show notes to get a deeper dive on what I mean by this. But let me share a couple of examples with you about a couple of my clients. So one is a solo entrepreneur. She's in her first year of business and she is a financial coach. She's very specific about who she wants to work with. She wants to work with mainly women or families where she gets to talk to the couple, not just the men of the family, right? She has a passion for helping women with their finances. And she's just starting out, right? So we designed a new website for her to attract those women who want to have financial wealth and understanding. She's not a financial advisor. She also doesn't want to help people get out of debt. So we built a site that will help weed out those kind of people, as well as not really be geared towards men. And it's also very professional. She's taking this extremely seriously, right? But at the same time, it's comforting content and a comforting visual look and feel because finances can be frightening to anyone. The one thing I will share with you that really made me feel good is that, when we got to the testing phase and we're getting ready to launch, and she's like, wow, this website makes me feel like a real professional business owner, right? It's like putting on a suit or having a great business card when you walk in a room. It just helped her legitimize what she's doing and created this mind shift for her that like, wow, I'm just not a person giving out advice. I'm actually a real business. And that's huge. If any of you out there remember your first year in business or you're still going through it and there's all this doubt and that kind of stuff. So that's actually one of the things I'm most proud about for working with her. And then on the flip side, I have a home inspection company. They've been in business for 10 years. The owner has been in the home construction inspection industry for a very, very, very long time. And so his big thing when he came to me is differentiating himself from other home inspectors and specifically talking about who he wanted to attract, right? He wants realtors because that's mainly who hires him. And of course, home buyers will look for their own home inspectors. But what he wanted were the type of realtors and buyers that wanted a valuable, authentic, and truthful home inspection. He didn't rubber stamp houses. Now, there are some awesome, fantastic realtors out there. I know a bunch of them. But every industry has its black sheep who want a home inspector to just like rubber stamp the house so that the sale goes through. Those are the ones that he didn't want calling him or coming to his site or anything like that. And then subsequently buyers as well. He doesn't want buyers that just want a really cheap home inspection to just check the box of saying, I had the home inspected. And so the way we structured and built his site was to really intrigue and be interested by those that wanted something that was going to help them buy the right home and then repel the others that just wanted that rubber stamp. So that's through language, through articles, through image selection. And so far, we've been pretty successful for sure. So hopefully that helps you understand how a website can really be put together and function to support your business goals, your values, and what you need. So now let's talk about the different types of web designers and developers and companies that are out there because they're not all the same and they all don't do the same thing. That's probably the biggest myth that I stumble over is that, if someone calls themselves a web designer, they're the same as every other web designer that's out there, but they're not. There's a lot of differences. So I'm going to walk you through the most common types. So the first one is going to be your company's or representative of a company that has a platform that you subscribe to. So it's not the DIY build it yourself platforms, although those are out there, but that's you going in and doing all the work yourself. Most people understand that a Wix is different than having someone build you a site. But these sites are just one step up. It's like they have a team that builds your site on a platform that's similar to that. They're very cookie cutter templates. The person selling is usually a salesperson. They might have graphic design experience or writing experience, but all they want to do is sell a lot of websites. So they're kind of white labeling some stuff, which can't be customized. And these platforms are about volume. They expect you to know exactly what you want, exactly what you need. They're just there to provide you or someone a tool to assemble and move on to the next. This is a good option for a startup company that has little to no money, but just realize you're getting what you pay for here. And so if you don't have any graphic design or website or marketing experience, this could be really hard, really, really hard to use. But you're not paying a lot because the majority of the effort and the sweat equity is on your side, not on the company's. Next up from there is hiring a solo web designer, a one-person show who the person is a web designer. They could be a graphic designer in business from 1 month to 10 years, right? You don't know. There are classes out there that, tell people you want to work from home business, start building websites. Here's how you do it. You're going to get that. And then you're going to get people that were trained in the industry or they have worked for an agency and they've gone solo on their own. You're going to get a mix and a gamut. For the most part, from these folks, you're going to get a site that looks decent, that looks good, depending on their skill level. They probably won't write the content for you. They'll probably expect you to write the content or provide the written content because they're not copywriters. And they're probably going to want you to make the decisions about where you host it, and they're going to want you to manage it themselves. Basically, they want to do the work, make it look pretty, and they'll walk away. Some of them will say, oh, yeah, we'll host it for you here, or you can host it there, and they'll help you get the account set up. But then you're on your own after that. So this is good if you like to write. If you're a writer and you want to write your own content, especially if you don't want someone writing your content. I've met people like that. They're like, no, I want to write the content. And then you're okay with it and you don't mind maintaining it yourself, right? You have a bit of technical knowledge. You're not afraid of it. So this might be a good option for you. You get a certain level of customization. They may wind up using templates that they just configure for you, but that's part of the conversation. Then you have your solo web developers, right? Designers and developers are not the same. Developers have the technical back-end skills. Designers have the front-end skills. And then back in the day, when we would build sites from scratch using HTML, we would actually have multiple people on the team. You'd have one person that would create the web design, the front-end look, and they'd do it in Photoshop, and they'd hand that over to the web developer who would actually take it and then construct the site from that. So you need to kind of understand who you're working with. Most designers will not have the technical expertise to build a website from scratch. They will use tools like WordPress, totally fine, perfect, to build the site because they don't need the technical expertise. And then web developers, they'll probably use a template or use a product like Bootstrap where they can actually develop the site themselves, but the front end might not look so hot. So just keep that in mind that you may have to supply the creativity, the images, and the writing if someone talks to you like they're a web developer, meaning they talk about the technology more than they do about how things look, feel, and what the end user is going to do with it. They just really want to put it together and move on. They probably will offer hosting. There's a certain technical element to hosting that they'll probably be comfortable with. It may very well likely be low-end hosting. They're paying $3.99 a month and they're getting a spot on a server that is overloaded because they don't really understand, or maybe they don't care how hosting affects the website from a speed perspective, from a functionality perspective, for search engine optimization. So the funny thing is that server managers and maintenance is also a separate skill set. Your developers don't care about the server hosting platform as much as the server hosting platform guys. Back when I used to run a IBM server farm, it was funny listening to the conversations and managing and negotiating between the hosting server technical team and the website development team, because sometimes they had conflicting interests and things wouldn't work right. And you had to figure out where the problem was and they were pointing at each other. So yeah, totally different skill sets, not the same. A web developer might be more likely to offer services like search engine optimization if they have the skill set. If you're using WordPress, you don't need to have coding skills to do SEO, right? If you're building a site from scratch or if you're using a different technology, you might need some technical skills and they might understand how to do it technically, but how to actually choose the right words and do the right things that have to be coded is a different level of expertise, and they may not have both. So this is a good option, really only if you're creating some type of a web-based service system, right? A SaaS, software as a service, where there is functionality with your website. The person logs in and they do things, and maybe it's a subscription site. You definitely want a developer for that because a designer might not be able to tackle that. But they're not so great at creating a marketing asset website. So just keep that in mind. Then you get your combos, web designer with a writer. You might get a developer with an SEO expert. They're like a team of 2 or 3. They may be partners, but they're not really a company. And so it's like a solo designer that has a writer as staff that works with them. It's, oh yeah, we offer this. And you might get bucketed pricing. Here's what we're charging for the website. Here's what the writer's going to charge you. This is what the total fee is going to be. Now, assuming that the writer knows how to write marketing copy for websites and not just blog articles, you may just be providing feedback on what you see written and design and corrections and changes. If they aren't a website copywriter, you might be providing even more direction on copy. They may offer SEO. If the writer knows how to do SEO, they may offer hosting at that low tier hosting facility. And then they might do front end maintenance for you, but they might not do back end server system updates. So for example, with WordPress, there's software that has to be updated whenever new updates come out for plugins, for the PHP, for WordPress, all of that stuff. And if you don't do those, your site may not function properly anymore. It may be slow. And then there might be security hack risks. So the combo team is good if you want someone who's going to do all that work, like the design work and the writing work. Just be prepared that they might not be good at project management. And you may have to take the lead on project management of when things get done, making sure that you get to review things, all that good stuff, so that the project doesn't take forever to finish. And then the last category is the marketing agency that specializes in web design and websites, right? You have different types of marketing agencies out there. Some are branding agencies, some like doing content marketing, some do digital advertising. All are totally good, but you don't want to hire a digital advertiser to build your website. So make sure what you want is one of their core capabilities is building websites. And these folks, they have a marketing strategist on staff. They have a web designer and they have a website copywriter and they have a project manager for managing the entire project. And they could have a web developer too. It depends on who they are. So for us here at Inkyma, we have web developers, but we don't typically enlist them for a business website just because we use WordPress with Elementor Pro and the web designer can configure that all himself without having to write a stitch of code. We bring the web developer in if we have to write custom pieces of software or certain things that's just way beyond the designer. But the rest of the team, yeah, designer, writer, project manager, and strategist. Check, 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 check. That's what you need, right? And this is going to ensure that you get that end-to-end experience where you're actually spending the least amount of time on the project possible for a business owner, because the project manager is there to manage the entire project and make sure it gets completed in the timeline that was agreed to. So they're going to be the ones that are going to be communicating with the customer. Here's what you're going to get from us when. Here's what we need from you when. They're also going to be communicating with the team. Here is the customer's feedback on this web page, on this copy, other thing. And then they're going to ensure that it gets done and then gets back to the client. Then the strategist is going to actually interview you at the beginning of the project to understand what your values are, what you need from the website, the type of customer you're trying to attract, so that this is a really valuable marketing and branding tool for your business. They're going to relay that back to the rest of the team and then ensure that everything meets that as part of the project. And so that's another touch point for the project manager. Like, here, send this to the strategist. Is it meeting the strategy? Yes or no, before it actually gets to the customer. So this is obviously the gold star option. And I think this is the option every business owner wants, unless there's things they want really to do themselves or to stay in control of it. But not everybody's ready for that. So this is the best option for a really busy business that made plans and goals to expand their business. Maybe they want to double income. Maybe they want to expand into new states, get their business to that next level, whatever that next level is. This is the type of company that you want to work with to get you there. Okay, so let's talk about cost ranges and expectations in cost. And here's where one of the points of contention and chaos happens is that depending on who you hire or who you work with, a website can cost you $500 or it can cost you $10,000 or more. E-commerce websites, they pretty much typically start at $15,000 and go up. So your solo guys are going to be your least expensive option after the platform. Sometimes they're depending on who you're talking to, the solo guy could be less expensive than the platform over time because the platforms usually charge you a monthly reoccurring fee just to be there, right? It's kind of like the hosting cost because they are pushing a lot of the work onto you. So the same amount of effort is being taken, right? Someone's got to design the site, someone's got to write for it, someone's got to pick images. You're either going to pay someone externally to do that or you're going to do it yourself, right? That's just the way it works. So it's either your sweat equity or you're paying someone. The solo guys, they push a lot of that back onto you so that the price tag that they give you is lower. So you're more hands-on. And then also they may pass through a lot of the expenses that go with it. So you might be paying for the hosting. If you're doing things like WordPress, you might be paying for the premium plugins, or they may choose to use inferior plugins that are free versus paid plugins that are more effective. And then hosting costs are usually separate, and search engine optimization might be a tacked on add-on cost. Your teams and your agencies are going to be at the higher end of that price range because, again, instead of you having to do that work that I explained before, it's getting all pushed onto the agency or the team. And then with the agency, you've got project management in there. But agencies also include more stuff in that price. They don't want to haggle with you over, okay, who's paying for the stock photography? Who's going to do this? They're like, no, we're going to take care of everything, right? Including paying for stock photography and the right plugins and all the right things that we know work. And here's the fee to do that. Like for us here, we don't build a website unless we do the search engine optimization to it, right? We have a core set of features that get included with every single website that are non-negotiable. Meaning if you don't want the feature, then we're not going to do business with you and we're not going to lower our price. And so this is where that frustration point bubbles over right at the very beginning of a project is because you're thinking you hired an agency, but then you're getting this solo guy who doesn't do it. So you were thinking, okay, they're going to do the writing. They're going to do all this other stuff. I'm just going to have to review it. And then they're pushing more and more work at you. And then they're expecting you to stay on top of the work yourself. So they may send you an email and you may have missed it or you may have forgot to go back to it. They're not going to remind you. They're not going to follow up with you. Months could go by and you could say, hey, what's going on with the site? And they'll be like, I don't know. I sent you this and you never responded. And then worse than that is when they do promise you that agency experience and they charge you for it. But then what they provide is the low end. They do the bare minimum. They don't manage the project. They don't give you all the stuff that you had asked for. And so that's where all of these stories come from. It's one of those two scenarios is that what you expected is not what they're delivering, or they lied and they said they were going to deliver something and they just didn't know how to do it, right? Not that they lied. They just didn't have the right skill set. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. If you go through the process and you're diligently trying to find someone that works the way that you want to work, right? Maybe you need to do more of the work yourself, but you need more guidance, whatever. When you find that person, don't pick apart their pricing and don't go with the lowest cost option unless that is the person that you want to work with, right? And I do caution people on negotiating. I don't recommend negotiating. Some companies like myself, we don't negotiate price. It's either this is what you want or you don't. There is some flexibility in there. It's like, okay, these features are optional. If you want them, the price goes up, but here is the base price. And the reason is that companies that will negotiate, they're not just going to give you what they said they were going to give you for a lower price. What they do is they pull feature sets and functionality out so that they don't have to do the extra work because you lowered the price, right? Websites are very, very flexible when it comes to that, right? They could take out plugins. They could do less functionality. They could not buy the premium stock, but get the crappy stock. They could hire someone who's not as skilled as their original writer. And you may not know that, but that's what I see in the industry all the time. It's like, yeah, we'll lop off $1,200 here, but then they go out and they hire a writer who is 3 times less the cost so that they're still making a profit, right? Everybody's got to eat. And there's a lot that goes into making a website, even when you're using great components and pieces like the plugins, like WordPress, like Elementor Pro. And oftentimes, designers don't know how to charge for this stuff. So they'll actually wind up undercharging you, not overcharging you for a project. I've seen a lot of that too, where I've had people come to me. I was not a good fit for them. Totally fine with that. And they're like, hey, is this price good? And I'm like, I don't know what's included. And they don't even know, right? So the price is not good or bad. It's what are you getting for it? Here's the thing to keep in mind with websites, right? It is a one-time cost for your business. And as a business owner, myself, the thing I concern myself most with are my reoccurring costs, the stuff I have to keep paying every single month, because that chips away at the overall profits, right? So you've got your gross and your net. The reoccurring stuff is what really hits your wallet. When you have one-time fees, it's there, it hits it, and it's gone. So websites are a one-time cost and they have a return on investment. It's not like buying paper clips or other expenses that don't help your business grow. The right kind of website is really, really going to help your business grow. And the wrong website is actually going to help you not grow, right? It's going to attract the wrong people and then deflect the people that you really want if you don't do it the right way. Okay. So I have 5 questions for you to ask during your interview that's going to help you really figure out if the person you're talking to is the right company for you. So you got to have in your head already how much you're willing to do and what you want them to do, right? So that's the first question. Who does what during the project? Who's picking images? Who's writing copy? Who's testing? Who's finding the host company? Who's doing what? You want to have this understanding of what is actually included for the price that you're getting and then who's doing it, right? Second one, who's in charge of hosting? Me, the client, or you, the designer? If you're hosting a WordPress website and they're saying you're in charge, I highly recommend using Flywheel. The link is in the show notes, as well as I did a whole episode on reviewing Flywheel. Flywheel's who we use. I love them, love them, love them, love them. I have socks and I have a t-shirt and I wear it proudly. So they make it easy to host a WordPress website and then they have great support. And for someone who is not technical, you absolutely need that outstanding support if you have a problem with your website. Question number 3, what's the time frame and the process to get the site done within that time frame? What you're asking them here is, what's the project management process? And this is going to help you determine how involved you have to be. If they don't have a process, you need to assume that you're going to have to constantly follow up with them to keep things on track. Number 4, what's included? This one's super important. How many pages am I getting? Is writing included? Is search engine optimization included? Is site maintenance included? And site maintenance is front end, what you see, and back end, what you don't see. So back end usually gets included in a hosting package where they make sure they monitor your site, they make sure the plugins are updated, all that good stuff. So make sure you have it. And then I'm going to talk about this more later, but write it down. What you guys talk about today, you need to have some type of a reference that you agree upon when you have a discussion a month from now about what's included and what's not included. Because I guarantee you, you're both going to remember different things. But having it written down gives you one version of the truth. And then number 5, and this one is super, super important, is who owns the site? Unless you're going with one of those platforms where they own it, and when you stop paying for it, your site goes away, and it's proprietary technology, you should always own your website, especially if it's a WordPress website. They can't take ownership of the WordPress software platform. There's nothing proprietary for a designer on that. If they're saying they own the website, even though you're paying for a custom or a templated website, walk away. That's not what you signed up for. Any designer should tell you, no, you own the site. And if they put it on your hosting, great, they walk away. If it's on their hosting, you should have the ability to pick it up and move it if you want to. So here's some additional things to discuss as well. And these should be required and they should be deal breakers for you. You own your domain, whether they purchase it on your behalf and put it into your account that is under your name, or you open your own account and buy it. Buying a domain is super simple. It's like buying a pair of shoes. Go to NameSilo. It's just one of the companies out there. It's the one that we just happen to like to use. But domain.com, even GoDaddy's domain registrar, they're all fine. But you go in there, buy the domain and have it sitting there, and then you give them access to the account so that they can attach the website to it. I have heard so many stories and had to unravel where an old web designer that you're no longer working with and you want to move your domain or you want to build a new website, they actually try to charge you for it, saying that you don't own it, but they do. And technically they do. If they buy it on your behalf and it's in their named account that they're registered, they're the owners, not you. Yeah, bad deal. So make sure you always own your domain. And then the second thing is when I talked about what's included and writing that list, make it official. Get a signed agreement or a contract that says, here's what I'm doing. Here's what's included in the price. Here's what you're expected to do. Here's the cost. Here's who owns what, time frame, and then payment schedule. And then have it as a signed legal agreement. This is what's going to help protect you if things go sideways during the project and if it doesn't get finished. I've also had those conversations where I've heard clients say, yeah, I paid for this. They built me a homepage and the project never got finished and they never talked to me again. They stopped answering my emails. They stopped my phone calls and they had no recourse because there was nothing written or signed. And it protects them too. They don't realize it. So if they don't have an agreement you can sign, then you should write one up and have both of you sign it. Okay. So now let's talk about your next action steps. So first, decide your price range. I do understand that this is expensive, right? And that you have to have a budget and your budget may be very small in year one of your business or year two. So keep the site small. Rather than trying to DIY a large website yourself that isn't going to meet your needs, reflect your values, be on brand, you'd be better off getting someone to build you a one-page website that ticks all the boxes, looks really great, and is set up to attract the right type of customer. You can grow it later if you need to. When I have discussions with other website strategists out there, we always have this ongoing banter like, what's better, a 5 or 6-page website or a 15-page website or a one-page website? There's definitely those out there that believe in the one-page website. Me, I like setting up the site that's appropriate for the business. So then based on that budget, you can probably start figuring out the type of company that you need to work with, right? So figure that out based off of what you want to do, what you don't want to do, all that other good stuff. Pick at least 3 different companies to talk to, interview all 3 of them, and use the questions and discussion points that I outlined earlier. It's really important. I think once you have that discussion and then those questions are going to lead to other questions, you're going to find someone that matches you and your style. And to find those 3, try to get recommendations from other business owners that you know. And especially if you like the way their website looks. If you don't like their website, don't ask them for a recommendation. So they didn't either care or they picked a bad company and they haven't found the right one yet. They might be in the same boat with you. Reputation in this industry is really important because we do have this weird gambit of different type of people. Some of us who have been in it since the beginning of the internet and others who have just gotten on here in the last month. So there's a lot going on out there. So here are my final thoughts for you. Your website is worth the investment in time and money. Spend as much as you can. Get the right company because when it's done correctly, it can actually be a lead generator and growth generator for your business. So like I said, the gold standard is working with an agency because they're going to do the most for you and have the best experience and the largest team of specific experts, right? They're not trying to be a jack of all trades. And what you want is for them to have that philosophy of that this is a tool for your business to help your business grow. It's not just something pretty or brochureware. The majority of people in the web industry don't get this concept that the site has to do something for you. It's just not a glorified business card. And that's what causes all this chaos and frustration between the business owner and the web developer because as a business owner, you are highly invested in your business growth. And if that developer doesn't have that same mindset, helping you develop your business growth, they may not know how. They just may know how to make a really nice website. That's where you're going to run into problems. The companies that know how to build you a website to help you grow your business exist, right? My company is one of them, Inkyma. We build websites that grow businesses, and they're not just pretty. So you've got to make sure that, find something on the level that you're looking for, but at least have that conversation with them and know what you're getting into. So here at Inkyma, we love to give back to the business community. We have our podcast that you're listening to right now. In addition to that, you can go to the website, inkyma.com, inkyma.com, and click on the button in the right corner, upper right corner, and schedule a 45-minute consultation. You'll actually get me, and we can talk about whatever you want. Websites, search engine optimization, anything marketing, I'll have a conversation. And it doesn't have to be the intent of hiring us. You may just have something that you need to talk about so that you can move forward. I'm totally good with that. There's a contact form on the site. Maybe you just got a quick question. Maybe you want to suggest a show episode. Love those. Pop that in there. That'll get to me too. We also have Marketing Masterminds, our separate independent blog that is education-based that will give you all different types of tool recommendations, how-to videos, and how to do things, marketing strategy, the why, the right way to do certain things. The goal of that is that if you have to DIY things, then we want to make sure you do it the right way. And so we're sharing our knowledge with you there. So much so, sign up for the newsletter on Marketing Masterminds, because then we push all of that content to you. And the way that we do the newsletters now is that each newsletter is focused on a specific topic. So we'll give you a video, and then we'll come up through the archives and give you a couple of articles and or podcast episodes that kind of support the theme. So everything in it's related to help you understand what that concept is. So hopefully you found today's episode helpful for you, gave you some additional information that you didn't have, put you on the right path to finding a web developer, designer. If so, please share this with other business owners. If you're struggling with this, 9 times out of 10, there are 2, 3, 4, 5 other business owners that are also struggling with it and need this information as well. And the best thing that you can do for them is just simply sharing this content with them. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an amazing day.